Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Musings of Maverick channel. I'm your host Maverick, and today we're going to be starting a new series, The God of High School. So, before we get into that, just for all you new friends here, I'd like to give a quick introduction to my channel. Typically, I always divide my videos into 3 different parts. In the beginning, I always have an introduction or a recap of the last episode. In the middle would be my blind reactions, although if you're looking for a hype reactor, honestly, I'm not really that. I'm more of the snarky, calm kind of reactor, unless it's comedy, which I don't really think this is, but we'll see, right? Of course, it is going to be 100% blind. In fact, I know nothing about this work at all beyond the very basics. I haven't even read the synopsis of it yet, right? So that's how blind it's gonna be. And then at the very end, I will have my musings, if you will, hence the channel namesake, where I like to go more in depth into the episode, talk about things I liked, I didn't like, and especially if there are any interesting concepts or mechanics being introduced in the anime, in the episode, I like to do a deeper dive into that, some analysis or discussion, if you will. So if you do like that, do remember to check that out as well. There'll be timestamp below so you can just jump to whichever part that you please. So, like I was saying, I don't really know much about this particular work. I know it's from a Korean webtoon, manhwa as they call it, and it's quite critically acclaimed as well, although perhaps not to the level as Tower of God, which was in last season. But I think those who do have the habit of reading Korean manhwa probably know of all of these more popular titles. I know that it has to do with fighting, and it has some more supernatural kind of stuff in it. So, the fighting we're talking about is going to be one with abilities, I'm assuming, and not just pure punches and kicks and all that. And yeah, that's basically all I know about this, right? Hopefully, though, this anime adaptation is going to fare a bit more. It's going to fare a bit better than Tower of God from last season. So even though Tower of God was quite popular, I feel like it missed the mark in a lot of things, to be honest. Especially those who are fans of the original series, the original webtoon, are keen to point out they changed a lot of things and they didn't adapt a lot of things. They pushed the pacing off. Basically, they made a lot of changes that weren't really beneficial to the anime as a whole, if you will. So I hope that the God of High School does not go through a similar fate, and they can keep to the source material as close as possible, or at least make some positive changes to it. Now, it is being made by MAPPA, which should be a stamp of quality, which is also a little bit different from the animation studio that produced Tower of God, right? So MAPPA, stamp of quality. The director, honestly, is not someone I'm too familiar with. I believe he's a Korean, although I do know that he was the one who directed the opening of Zombieland Saga, which was quite, I quite liked it, and I think that is credential enough to a certain extent, right? Beyond that, also, in terms of the voice actors, voice actresses, not too much to comment there. There are a few that I like, such as Hashi Ayaka, such as Sugita, and whatnot. But, no, I do feel like it's a pretty decent balance so far. So, it has the potential to turn out good. Let's see if that turns out to be true. Alright, let's begin in 3, 2, 1, play. By the way, the sort of blurred video and the timestamp there is just to allow you to sync your own copy of the video with mine. You're not really supposed to watch the video on my channel. Copyright and all that. Park Sensei. He's a teacher? He says while relaxing on the beach giving a massage. Okay. What? Is he gonna get assassinated or something? Okay. When they said supernatural, I wasn't expecting it to be of this caliber. Yeah, one step ahead. Buddha. I'm gonna have to remember their names. You obviously can't just remember him as Mr. Park, because there's too many Parks. Oof. Ah, is that like the Hand of Buddha? The Hand of Buddha? Which is a pretty common martial arts trope, if you will, in Kung Fu. Oh, damn. So, ready to go? The God of High School. Of course it's gonna be K-pop. Oh, this is indeed quite the lit opening. Damn. You know, you don't... can't really see anything that's going on. Right. Beat drop. Okay, seems like some sort of arena setting here. I mean, I guess technically it could be, you know, Western or Japanese as well. But I'd have high doubts about that. Set up, stand up. Oh. Mori, eh? Quite the interesting eye eye choice. Yeah, seriously, his eyes. That is a super big cross. Yeah, you're late to school, probably. First day of school? High school? Man, that certainly looked like a Ghibli scene for a second there. Is he biking? Okay, never mind. All Styles Martial Arts Tournament. Kind of like MMA? Okay, so it is more of an arena setting. Moonbucks. Of course, set in Seoul. So 1 is divided by 1,000 if you want to convert to USD. Each of those was like a $50 bill. This girl's one of them. I'm gonna see her from the opening, so. Okay. Muscle fetish. Well. Oh wait, is he heading to the arena? Okay. Right. He's gotta help those in need. Alright. Nice. This is some pretty quality animation right here. Man, that is one hell of a sturdy bike. So now 2. You know, I was actually wondering whether he's gonna run into the female lead in the beginning. Well, it looks like he did. Ah, and here's the. Are they gonna run into him? Oh. Hmm. Carry on walking. Damn. Nice. Man, a high-speed chase scene right in the first episode. Match made in heaven, these two. Moonlight sword? Oh, damn! Oh my god. Okay, the durability of people in this world is insane. Always in the face. Huh? Oh, okay, never mind. I was like, we're literally like only halfway into the episode. Yeah, that was an awesome introduction scene. You get all three of the main characters, I think, and through a high speed chase as well. Yay? My glasses. Jinmori Andawi. Yumiya. So they're still using the Korean names here. Ooh. So no rules, all out brawl. Nice. So is it possible to kill someone in this tournament? No, he hasn't eaten yet. Eaten yet. This is gonna be one of those things where he powers up after he gets something to eat. HP? Alright. Wow. Damn. Any wish? Hmm? Oh, it's just a free for all? Nice. They're like, should we make the first move? Just like that. 150, 120. Man, they got very low HP. I mean, nobody says you need to defeat how many, right? You just need to be. You just need to survive. Of course. Is that Tai Chi or a wrestler? Studying at the same time? Alright, this guy. Damn. Okay, what is his style of fighting? I can't really tell, actually. A wild card? Formatory. Hmm. And his. Damn. His arms are still bound as well. Ooh. Damn. This reminds me of what's that? I think in English it's called Kung Fu Hustle. Damn. And we're gonna end there? Damn. Okay, this is quite the hype. This is quite the hype first episode, I gotta admit. Alright, typically because it's his first episode, I will be looking at the ending. I guess this is also more... Yeah, this is a K-pop ending, so... Contradiction. Win. Huh, it says Word of Music Japan, though. So it's hard to say. I don't really associate this type of music with Japan, though. With J-pop. Alright. That was a pretty good first episode. Actually, that was a pretty great first episode. But we'll talk more after this. Well, that was the first episode of The God of High School, and man, I am loving every second of it. It wasted no time at all. The pacing was terrific. We had no wasted time, and you can even say it literally cut to the chase, right? It started off innocuously enough, so we had a little bit of a context of the world. We have some conspiracy plans or whatever you want to call it, but then we were introduced immediately into this world, right? And through the very first scene, where we have this sort of, I guess, political intrigue or political situation in Korea, in Seoul, through that initial sort of setting, we're also introduced to the scale of the world, particularly in regards to martial arts and what you can achieve once you're at the pinnacle of these martial arts, right? And not to mention that it was quite a fun reference, I feel, to Kung Fu Hustle as well, which is a great movie by Stephen Chow, but we'll get to that a little bit later, right? And then, after that, we transition immediately to the more cliche sort of things, especially for those with a high school setting, right? You got the high school boy getting up late, being late for his first day or whatnot to school, and then rushing out, and then presumably meeting the female lead along the way, right? So it did happen sort of like that, but also not really like that, because we're introduced to a chase scene, and the chase scene was honestly very entertaining, right? It was, first of all, it was very high quality animation. I love the specific scenes of them weaving in and out of traffic, and then also the transitions between scenes as well. It was pretty well done, right? And then also, it splashed a little bit of comedy in there as well. We see what she called again, Mira, wanting to land her super powerful technique or whatnot, and then boom, right into the sign there. And well, speaking of which, the durability of people in this world seem to be quite different from normal people, including the thief, right? Who, in all honesty, should probably be dead with that kind of hit. So it had a little bit of that kind of comedy in there as well, but mostly it's just, it didn't really go too much into the sort of cliche setups like the misunderstandings and all that. And then it didn't have the main character first attend school or something, and then later on introduce this tournament, or have him be a spectator on the sidelines, go through too much of his backstory and all that before they actually showed us him and showed us what he can do and his abilities, right? And it's not just like a small showing of him showing off his abilities in some random mundane setting that had no consequence, whatever. It's thrown right into the tournament is starting. Well, not particularly the tournament, but the preliminary, right? But that is as official as it gets. So I loved how it was just super fast paced, just throwing things at you and cutting straight to the action. That was great. And not to mention the fighting scenes itself were quite well animated as well. Both in the martial arts that they displayed, the hits, the impact of the hits, and then also the transition between different people as well. Very high quality. If they can keep this up for the entire season, man, it is going to be a treat, right? And then, of course, this being a sort of martial arts setting, you do kind of see the sort of tropes that are used there as well. You know, a lot of this stuff you might see or a bit more in, for instance, wuxia novels or more martial arts related type of works and whatnot. And I definitely feel that for those of you who have watched Kung Fu Hustle before, which is a movie by Stephen Chow, you would also get some of the fun references here, right? Obviously, it's not only coming from Kung Fu Hustle, but I feel like that's a work that perhaps more people in the West would have seen it before, such as the sort of hand of Buddha, right? The Rulai Shenjiang at the beginning there by that Mr. Park or whatnot. You know, having his hand and then just, you know, putting it down and then, you know, making it into like a super large hand and then just crushing everyone underneath it. And you know that was the technique used because you can see him, you know, staring at like a painting of Buddha and whatnot. So you know that is indeed that sort of thing, right? And then also, you know, some other stuff that kind of feels reminiscent to some iconic scenes in Kung Fu Hustle as well, such as when Mira, once the sword got taken away, she started using her punches and her kicks, right? And then once she landed a direct kick onto the head of the Kang Mensok character, right? It was very reminiscent of the fight between the landowners and the beast in Kung Fu Hustle as well, right? And basically like landing a direct hit into the head, you know, you think that, okay, that's got to be a KO right there, but instead it just turns back up and nice hit, I like it, you know, something like that, right? So totally awesome. I love that little stuff. I'm not sure if they were specifically paying an homage to Kung Fu Hustle or whatnot. Like I said, these are some common tropes, I guess you could say, but I wouldn't be surprised if it were. And then, of course, this being a martial arts themed sort of anime, we do see a variety of different martial arts being used, right? I mean, I'm not exactly the foremost expert on these kind of things, but I believe we saw some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu here, you know, from the sort of grappling techniques there. The guy who was dressed in traditional Chinese attire, I'm not quite sure. I think that would be Wing Chun, similar to the techniques, the martial arts that Ip Man uses, right? I don't think it's Tai Chi. I think it's more Wing Chun, just based on the movements of his hands and whatnot. But of course, like I said, I'm not an expert. I could be wrong. And we got other sorts of wrestling stuff and all of that. And for the main character, right? The main character, I can't really tell what exactly it is. However, just based on the fact that he is focusing on kicks, and also the fact that this is a Korean manhwa having a Korean setting and all that, I would venture a guess and say that is probably Taekwondo, right? It would make sense, you know, being Korean themed and all that. It also has an emphasis on kicks as well. I don't think it's particularly any variant of karate or something of that sort. So I'll just go with Taekwondo here. I think that's a pretty good guess, right? So yeah, the first episode, you know, we're just thrown directly into it, and awesome, and then music really gets you fired up as well. I really love the, you know, it is a bit more on the like sort of electronic side and whatnot of things, but you know, it does the job quite well, right? It gets you hyped up, and combined with the visuals that we see on the screen, it just works great. So really, there's not too much in regards to plot and all that we can sort of analyze or discuss here. And indeed, I'm thinking whether or not there actually is going to be that much of that sort of thing in this. It definitely gives me, I don't know, because it is popular, right? So I'm assuming that it does have a deeper story with it, and we are shown a little bit as such in the flashbacks towards the main character, as well as the very opening, the beginning, right, with some, you know, political stuff and all that. So that might be possible, but that's not something that we're gonna worry ourselves in this first episode. But man, this was a great little introduction to the series as a whole, and definitely getting me excited to watch the next episode. So there we go. That's it for this first episode, and I will see you guys next week as well. Hope you guys like this. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.